The Broncos had their 2025 schedule released yesterday. So what could their record actually look like at the end of the season? We're going to talk about that on your Denver Sports Daily for May 15th.
The biggest stories, the latest news. It's Denver Sports Daily.
Now, the schedule was released yesterday, so what we're going to do is go through the schedule week by week and try to give a good prediction for what the Broncos record could look like at the end of the season in 2025 and 2026. So week 1, they're taking on the Tennessee Titans at home. Easy 1-0. And I don't think there's much conflict with this one. I don't think anybody's disagreeing. Cam Ward going up against the best defense in the league. And also rookie QBs are 1-9 when debuting on the road. So Cam Ward coming to Denver for his debut against a team that led the league in sacks last year. It's not going to be a good showing for the Tennessee Titans. And then week 2, the Indianapolis Colts in Indianapolis. Now, the Broncos are moving to 2-0 in my eyes. Even though the Broncos are 2-8 in Indiana since 2000, 2-8 is not a good number since 2000. Indiana has been one of the worst teams in the league in the past couple seasons. There's no reason that the Broncos can't start their season hot and go out 2-0, one at home, one on the road. So week 3, what are they doing? Going to the Chargers at Los Angeles. This will be the first loss of the Broncos year, I think. Now, the Broncos take on a division rival, the Chargers, great team. But the Broncos are 1-5 at SoFi, and all the Chargers have been doing is getting better. You know, this is not going to be an easy game at all. And I'm just going to be honest and fair. I think that this will be the first loss of the Broncos season. So then they go into week 4. Cincinnati Bengals at home, Monday Night Football. If you remember last year, that game was insane. That Bengals-Broncos game where the Broncos are trying to clinch a playoff spot for the first time in 10 years. That shootout that was going back and forth, Marvin Mims mossing somebody to send it to overtime. I think that the Broncos get their revenge over the Cincinnati Bengals and go up 3-1 on the season. This is going to be a great offensive performance from the Broncos. You know, you look at the Bengals last season, easily the worst defense in the league. The only reason that they were even somewhat able to maybe make a playoff push was because of how great their offense was. But the Broncos offense is good. It's stayed the same. It's kind of stagnant. It hasn't gotten much better, but it definitely hasn't gotten worse. And all the Broncos defense has done has gotten so much better. So if they can shut down that Bengals pass game and really close down, T. Higgins and Jamal Chase, if they can put some pressure on Joe Burrow, the Broncos will go up 3-1 in the season. Again, a great offensive performance is definitely in the cards for the Broncos in week 4. And then week 5, moving on, Eagles in Philadelphia. Broncos lose, down 3-2 in the season. They're up 3-2, 3 wins, 2 losses. But Philly's coming off the Super Bowl. Their team is stacked from head to toe. And the Broncos are 1-6 all time in Philly. The odds are really against the Broncos in this one, and I think it's fair to say that that'll be their second loss of the season. Week 6, New York Jets going across the pond, playing in London, 4-2. Should be a win against the Jets. The Jets are one of those teams. Is anybody ever going to fix that team? I feel bad for New York fans who love the Jets because that's just a real disgraceful team. I don't see them really improving in any big facet this season. But again, Broncos fly to London, take down the Jets. I see that being a pretty easy game. Week 7, another New York team. This one's a little bit more fun, though, because the New York Giants are coming to Denver. Hopefully, Russell Wilson will make his return to Denver. And even if he doesn't, the Broncos will still easily take care of Jackson Dart and Jameis Winston. They move to 5-2 on the season. Then it goes to week 8 at home. 6-2. That's 3 wins in a row. The Cowboys haven't been able to run a successful offense in years, and going up against the best defense in the league. Again, this Broncos defense, that's no easy chore. I see the Broncos easily handling the Cowboys as well. Those 3 games are going to be a big stretch for the Broncos, and I see them taking care of each one by one, knocking them down. 2 New York teams taking down Dallas. That'll be a fun few games to watch. Then they go into week 9. This one's going to be a bit tough. Texans in Houston. I see the Broncos losing that game. They're now 6-3. Now, the Broncos haven't lost back-to-back games against the Texans ever, and they lost their last matchup against the Texans, but something tells me that CJ Stroud is going to do amazing things this year. You know, his rookie year, he was incredible, and he had kind of a sophomore slump last season. This season, he's really going to go out there and try to prove that he is one of the best QBs in the league, and I believe he is. There's nothing showing to me that he's not one of the best QBs in the league. So he's going to do some crazy things. I see him taking care of the Broncos. But again, it's going to be a close matchup. I think that both of these teams match up very well against each other. And a lot of these games are really going to fall on how good is this Broncos defense? Is it as good as everybody's predicting it to be? Because if it is, then, there could be a lot more wins than I'm giving the Broncos this season. Okay, moving on to week 10, the Las Vegas Raiders at home, Thursday night football, 7-3. The Broncos move up, take down the Raiders easily. The Raiders brought in Geno Smith and Pete Carroll with hopes that it would fix the team, but the Broncos should be able to handle the Raiders easily. Again, this offense is going to be able to run through that defense, and Geno Smith is not going to be able to do anything. Again, this Broncos defense is going to shut Geno Smith down. And sure, Ashton Jeanty, I mean, he's great. He's amazing. You don't see many running backs taken in the top 10, and that's for a reason. And Ashton Jeanty is one of those guys, so it's going to fall on how good is this run defense. Can the run defense stop Geno Smith or Ashton Jeanty from playing the way that he did in college? I think that they can. Week 11, Kansas City Chiefs at home in Mile High. I don't know. This one's going to be tough. I think the Broncos end up losing this one. The Broncos take their first home loss of the season, in my opinion, at the hands of the Chiefs. Again, it's going to be tough. You're heading into week 11, still no bye week. That's going to cause some fatigue. But what I will say is that, like last season, this game will be decided by one score. I can see it being decided by 6 points, 2 points, 3 points. It's not going to be a big blowout on either way. The Chiefs are not going to be nearly as good as they were last season, but they match up well against the Broncos. They have the Broncos number. Even though the Broncos and Chiefs split their season series last year, they're most likely going to do the same thing this year. Again, it's going to fall a lot on the defense. Can they stop Patrick Mahomes? But that's a task that the best defenses in the league still have yet to do. Now, week 12, they get a bye week. They're heading into the week 12 bye week with a record of 7-4 and 6 more games to play. 7-4, week 12. If my predictions are correct, that's incredible. That's stunning. I mean, 7-4, 6 more games to play, and you got some good games coming forward. There's no doubt that the Broncos are going back to the playoffs, but now the question moves to, can they win the division? So week 13, the Commanders in Washington, they're going to shut down that thought real quick. 7-5. They're going to lose that game coming off the bye week. The Broncos, again, come off the bye and play one of the better teams in the league who ended up making the NFC Championship last season, and they end up losing in a wild battle between the second-year QBs. And again, these are all just predictions of what I think is going to happen. But you got Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix, top 2 in Rookie of the Year voting. I mean, these guys are going to go head-to-head. Overall, Washington has the experience of going to the NFC Championship. They've got some older players, some vets on their team. I mean, they've got some of the best receivers in the league. Terry McLaurin is on that team. Again, Jaden Daniels is amazing. It's going to be a battle. It's going to be a battle in the trenches. It's going to fall a lot on run game as well, because both of these defenses are incredible. And that's where I think the Broncos may start to crumble a little bit, because this run game, I don't think is going to be very existent next season. Now, week 14, moving on, Raiders in Las Vegas, moving up 8-5. Broncos sweep the Raiders. I expect a crazy performance in this game, coming off of a loss. Again, that's coming off of a loss against the Commanders, going to play the Raiders. This should be a win for the Broncos. Again, a crazy showing from the Broncos, showing that they are one of the best teams in the league. 8-5 is what I've got them at. Week 15, Green Bay Packers at home, 9-5. Move it up. Broncos defend home field once again and beat the Packers again in a close game. Week 16, Jacksonville Jaguars at home, 10-5. Move up the record. In Travis Hunter's return to Colorado, the Broncos are going to beat the Jags in a much closer game than expected. That's what I'll say about that. I don't see it being, 70-20, but I do see it being closer to something like 21-17, maybe 28-24, along those lines. That's what I could see from that performance. Broncos versus Jags, and Travis Hunter's return to Colorado is going to be very, very fun to watch. I cannot wait to see that. But that game is going to be one of those that kind of has you on the edge of your seat a little bit. Week 17, Chiefs in Kansas City, Christmas Day, 11-5, counted as a win in the record book for the Broncos. Now, what's crazy about this game is that it could have some major playoff implications. Both teams at this point will have established records, and I expect them to be very similar, those records. But Broncos should end up taking a road win thanks to some late heroics is what I'm expecting. You know, the Chiefs had that last season. They got that last second field goal block that stopped the Broncos from ending up sweeping the Chiefs. I expect it to be kind of similar. You know, maybe a 2-minute drive from Bo Nix, maybe a blocked field goal, maybe a last second field goal for the Broncos. Something about that game, Christmas Day, it's going to come down to the wire, and I couldn't ask for anything better. So then what happens? Week 18, last week of the season, LA Chargers at home, heading into this game 11-5, according to my predictions, 11-6. I think that surprisingly, the Chargers sweep the Broncos in the final game of the regular season. Justin Herbert leads LA and wins the division. That's my hot take of the season. I think the Chargers end up winning the division. They're looking very stout. I think that, you know, Harbaugh is one of the best coaches of all time, really honest. I know that may sound insane to say, but he is one of those great coaches. I mean, he brought the 49ers to a Super Bowl with Colin Kaepernick. Imagine what he can do with Justin Herbert when he finally gets his team looking the way that they should. So I predict the Broncos will finish 11-6 and 5th in the AFC. Now, moving on, it is a Nuggets game day. Tonight, the Nuggets will try to stay alive as they take on the OKC Thunder in Game 6 of the Western semifinals. The last 2 games have finished with blown fourth quarter leads that led to Thunder wins. Now, there are 3 key factors to winning this game. And if you've followed the show, you've listened to me, I've said this multiple times. And honestly, most of the times, it's been correct. Keep Nikola Jokic out of foul trouble. They've done well at doing that in the past 3 games. One of those games was a win. The other 2 were losses. But Nikola Jokic out of foul trouble. And the only one win I'll say, by the way, is where they did all 3 of these very well. Second thing, limit turnovers / stop points off of turnovers. Again, they've done well at that in the past 3 games. But the last 2, they missed out on the major important factor of the big 3 that they need to focus on. Michael Porter Jr. needs to be efficient. Keep him at an efficient rate, and the Nuggets can win this game. Now, again, 2 of the 3 of the Thunder wins last 3 games were decided by 7 points or less. And that's because Michael Porter Jr. could not perform at the level that he's expected to. The Nuggets had large leads in both of those games that were lost. So if the Nuggets can just stay relatively efficient, especially Michael Porter Jr., they could have that. They could win. They could keep a lead. All they have to do is keep a lead. You got 12-point leads, 10-point leads in both of these games, and you lose back-to-back. It's just terrible the way that those 2 last games ended, because we could be talking about the Western Conference Finals going up against the Timberwolves again, because they advanced to the Western Conference Finals, but the Nuggets blew both games. And now we're talking about the best case scenario is a Game 7. Now, the Nuggets are heading into this game as 4-point home underdogs, and the game will tip off at 6:30 p.m. Now, that's going to do it for your Denver Sports Daily. Go Broncos, 12-5. I like it. I mean, it's similar. I got 11-6. You got 12-5. I like it. I think everybody's kind of expecting a great season for the Broncos this year. But that'll do it for your Denver Sports Daily. I will see you all tomorrow, recapping a huge Nuggets game. We all need to be showing up. This is a great matchup. I'm so stressed. I couldn't sleep last night because I was so excited for this game. And maybe excited isn't the right word. Maybe nervous is a better word. But that'll do it for your Denver Sports Daily. I'll see you all tomorrow. Until then, y'all have a great rest of your day. Bye, y'all.